You think Jordan Belfort was an accident? You think he was just a particularly greedy man who happened to find a particularly convenient hole in the system?
Yeah.
That is exactly the kind of comfortable lie that keeps you from understanding how the machine you trust with your money was specifically engineered to produce men like him, and is actively producing the next version right now while you read this. Belfort was not a glitch. He was the logical output of a sequence of decisions made by people in suits who never spent a single day in prison. Decisions that started not on Wall Street, but in a suffocating government office in Washington, where a bureaucrat named Donald Reagan signed something that most financial history books mention in a footnote and then move on from, as if footnotes do not detonate. Sometimes not even that. That suffocation created a vacuum, and vacuums in financial markets are never empty for long. Into that space crawled a new species of brokerage, the boiler room. Small, loud, legally registered, and operating in the parts of the city where the established firms would never set up an office. They did not trade blue-chip stocks. They traded penny stocks, micro-cap companies that existed mostly on paper and on the imagination of whoever was doing the selling. The genius of the model was its simplicity. Find a stock nobody is watching, buy it cheap, call enough people hard enough until the price moves, then sell before it falls. It was not invented by Belfort. It was already a functioning ecosystem in Long Island and Brooklyn by the time he walked into his first brokerage job in 1987. The same year, not coincidentally, that Black Monday erased 22% of the Dow in a single session and sent an entire generation of young brokers looking for a floor that would not collapse under them. Black Monday was the second domino. When the legitimate market collapsed in October 1987, it did not just destroy portfolios, it destroyed the career trajectory of every young broker who had entered the industry during the bull run, expecting a clean path upward. Belfort was among them, laid off within months of getting his license. What the crash produced, in him and in hundreds like him, was not caution, it was hunger stripped of restraint. When he landed at Stratton Orkmont, the infrastructure was already there, the scripts, the pressure tactics, the network of complicit investors, and what he brought to it was not a new crime, but a new intensity. He industrialized something that had been operating at artisanal scale. The deregulation of 1975 had built the factory. Black Monday had supplied the workers. Belfort simply turned up the speed of the assembly line until it caught fire.
The machinery is still running. The boiler room model did not die with Stratton Oakmont's collapse in 1996. It migrated. It changed its vocabulary from penny stocks to initial coin offerings, from cold calls to social media direct messages, from Long Island offices to Telegram channels with 200,000 followers. The SEC's 1975 decision created a structural incentive that was never reversed. The incentive to find the product that the big institutions will not touch and sell it to the people who do not know why the big institutions will not touch it.
Every pump and dump scheme running right now on any crypto exchange you can name is the direct descendant of the ecosystem that deregulation accidentally designed. The clothes changed. The mechanism is identical. So before you congratulate yourself for not being the kind of person who would fall for a boiler room call, check your phone and count how many financial influencers you follow who are selling you access, courses, signals, or tokens. The Wolf of Wall Street did not disappear. He got a ring light and a better microphone. The butterfly that started this was a bureaucratic decision about commission pricing that nobody outside the industry even noticed, and it built an entire culture of predatory salesmanship that keeps reinventing its interface every decade because the underlying incentive was never removed. Belfort went to prison. The system that manufactured him received a fine and a press release. If you want to understand why the next version of this story is already being filmed somewhere with your money in the cast, subscribe to this channel, or keep watching the performance and wondering why you always end up in the audience and never in the credits.